Computer. There.
Okay. All
Okay.
right then. Okay, take two. There you go. All right. Good warm up, right? Okay.
Back out of it and not do that. Okay. Technology is not my strong suit. Okay. Righty. I am going to just start over, and I just want to say thank you to all of you for coming today. I just looked at who's here, and I am so grateful and so honored that you're here to witness this for me. So it is my 57th birthday, and I'm in my hot tub on my farm in southern Illinois, surrounded by fields of snow, the night sky, and the full moon. I'm alone. My husband's at the bar getting drunk. Steam rises and tiny icicles are lining the edge of my knit cap. I close my eyes and I sink. As my muscles start to relax, I slide deeper into the hot, pulsing water, and I feel the weightlessness of my body. Oh, 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 no. Oh, uh, this relentless feeling of hopelessness is so familiar. It weighs on my heart like a stone. I have never felt this lonely. My children are grown on their own now, and I'm living in this hollow shell of a marriage that restricts and suppresses me. I have worked really hard to stay afloat, but I am sinking. That was me 18 years ago. Tonight, I am sharing with you the path that led to that night in the hot tub. If you have a map and you drop a pin in the geographic center of North America, you have pinned the place I was born and raised, the Black Hills of South Dakota, the heartland of the American patriarchy, cowboys and horses, bikers and motorcycles, gold miners and displaced Native Americans, dirt farmers and cattle ranchers, white Anglo-Saxon Protestant Republicans, the Elks, the Moose, and the Masons. But let's turn the clock back 70 years to 1955. My name is Cheryl Ray, but I like to be called Chery. I'm 5. I'm in my cozy bed with my favorite things, my books, and my teddy bear. Do you want to hear my prayer to Jesus? Now I lay me down to sleep. I pray the Lord my soul to keep. What's that? What? My bed is moving. My bed is shaking from side to side. What could be under there? What could be making my bed move? Could it be a creepy monster? Daddy! I jump out of bed and I run up down the hall and up the stairs and stop at my parents' bedroom door because I'm forbidden to go in there. But I throw open the door and run inside. Mommy, Daddy, help me, please. Cheryl, what are you doing in here? Dad and Mom are sitting up looking at me. Daddy, you have to come downstairs with me. Something's under my bed and it's making my bed move and it's shaking really, really bad and I'm so scared. Please come with me. I need you to. Listen here, young lady. That is not happening. You get yourself back to bed right now. You've got to stop making up these stories. You're such a little liar. Now get out and don't you ever come back in here and wake us up with such nonsense. I turn and leave, closing the door behind me. My little body shudders with sobs as I walk down the stairs. I reach around the door jamb at my bedroom and turn on the light. Oh, my bed is not moving. I get down on my hands and knees and peek under the dust ruffle. Oh, the monster's gone. I climb back into bed and leave the light on and finish my prayer to Jesus. If I should die before I wake, I pray the Lord my soul to take. As I cry myself to sleep, I understand. Grown-ups can't be counted on to help me. I must get strong and learn to fight the monsters myself. 2 years later, I'm in second grade. I walk home for lunch and Mom isn't there. She knows I can take care of myself. I make myself a sandwich and I read my book while I eat. When I check the time, I see it's later than I think, so I quickly clean up and hurry out the door. As I walk past the high school, the bell has already rung. There's no one in the streets. Suddenly, the sun casts a shadow next to mine. A big boy is walking up behind me. Now he's right beside me. I don't know him. You're a cute little girl. I walk a little faster. Do you know what fuck means? My body goes into alert. I know it's a bad word and you're not supposed to say it. Hey, slow down. I'm not going to hurt you. I glance up at his face, and he is smiling. I have to get to school. I'm late. He grabs my arm. Hey, just a minute. I want to show you something really cool. Come over here. He pulls me off the sidewalk into Mrs. Jones' backyard. She has big lilac bushes, and he walks behind them with me in tow. I don't know what to do. One of the rules is obey people bigger than you. He has a hold of my arm, and he turns and drops to one knee. His hand goes under my dress, and he's touching my panties between my legs. I freeze like a deer in the headlights. He drops my arm and he unsnaps his pants and reaches inside. I have a brother. I know what's inside a boy's pants. His other hand slides under my panties and his finger is poking around at my bare fanny. A voice in my head says, "Run!" And it breaks me free and I run. I run faster than I've ever run before. Up the hill, in the door, to my classroom. I stop at the door and catch my breath and look behind me. He isn't there. I open the door and quietly slip in and go to my seat. Mrs. Brown is saying something, but the sound in my ears is so loud I can't hear her. I sit there quietly and I don't move. I don't say anything. Every once in a while, I glance at the door. I can't tell Mrs. Brown. If I tell Mrs. Brown, she won't believe me, just like my daddy. My secret life has begun. My childhood has two worlds, my inner world and my outer world. The stories in my books are real to me, and I am always the heroine. I am Nancy Drew driving my red coupe convertible and solving the mysteries that the grown-ups can't figure out. The Black Hills mountain range is my home, but my immigrant ancestors stole this sacred land from the Sioux natives, and I hear their voices singing to me when I am alone in the woods. I am fearless in these woods. The plants and the wild animals are my friends and my allies. It's the two-leggeds I have to watch out for. Judy is my best friend. I am 10 and she is 9. I have planned and prepared for this day because today Judy and I will become blood sisters. We pull long skirts over our shorts and braid each other's hair. I have the pocket knife I took from my brother's room and alcohol and gauze I took from Dr. Jones' medical supply cabinet. We walk out her back door and head for the trees. We walk through the willow branches that brush the ground, and once inside, we are no longer two little white girls. We are natives, and this is our teepee. Do you want me to go first? Judy nods her head. It won't hurt too much. I'll wrap them tight. It'll be okay, I promise. I clean the blade of the little knife with alcohol. With steady hand, I drag the sharp blade across my wrist, just deep enough for blood to rise. Judy watches and slowly reaches out her arm, and I make the same cut across her tiny wrist. Then I press my cut against hers to let our bloods merge. We look into each other's blue eyes, and with a steady voice I say, we are blood sisters forever. My words feel ancient and true. I pour alcohol on the cuts, and the stinging burn feels just right. Then I wrap them tightly with the roll of gauze. We'll need to hide these until they heal. Judy says she needs to go pee and she stands to leave. Are you okay? She looks back at me and smiles. Yes, sister. And she disappears through the branches. Alone under the willow, I look up and feel the irresistible pull of Mother. I reach for the lowest branch and pull myself up with ease. I climb higher and higher until I'm over 20 feet off the ground. Straddling a sturdy limb, I lean in and wrap my arms around her cool, smooth bark. I close my eyes and feel the beating of her heart. She knows me and she loves me. Up here, I am untouchable, supported by my mother's quiet strength. This is my home. This is the place where I belong more than anywhere. I wish I could stay here, hidden from the world of grown-ups who don't know me and don't want to. By the time I turn 13, my wild nature is fueled by the hormones of approaching puberty. I know the rules, and I don't agree with them, and I can be sassy. Rule number 1, do whatever a big person tells you to without question or argument. Well, I'd say this rule got me molested, so it lost some of its credibility after that. Rule number 2, every Saturday is chore day. I clean the house and iron everyone's clothes. My brother mows the lawn in the summer and shovels the sidewalks in the winter. Greg gets to be outside while I'm stuck in the house. This rule is so lame. Boy jobs and girl jobs, that's just plain stupid. Rule 3, respect the rules and other people's property. Geez, oh, Pete, I admit it, so guilty here. I only obey the rules to stay out of trouble, and I don't respect other people's property. I justify this because I'm a curious kid trying to figure life out, and nobody tells me nothing. When I'm home alone, I snoop around in everybody's stuff. I get all up in my big sister's business. I read her diary. I try on her bras. I try to figure out what those pads and belts are all about. So it appears that one of my core beliefs is rules are made to be broken. Just don't get caught. By 14, I'm a teller of lies and a sneaky Pete. I'm climbing out of my bedroom window at night to run with my friends. Oh, we are so bad. We raid gardens and play hide and seek in the dark. We hang out with boys who are older than us. I'm kind of shy with boys, but I'm also curious. One summer day, my best friend Judy and I are at the community pool sitting on our towels, watching the boys show off on the diving boards. We agree. The boys in our class are immature, and the older boys are much more interesting. Don is older. I'm in the 9th grade, and he is a junior. I can tell he likes me. He buys me ice cream and sits down on my towel, and we talk as we lick our cones. He asks if he can come over to my house later. I say, sure, as I'm thinking, where are my parents going to be? When I get home, nobody's there. I check the message board, and Mom has left a note. She and Betty are golfing, and she'll be home around 5. Dad's usually later than that. I am nervous to have a boy come over. I know Dad won't like it, especially because of his age. Don shows up at 4, and we sit downstairs in the playroom of our walkout basement. He lays his arm across the back of the couch, and we talk small talk about the new swimming pool. Then he drops his arm around my shoulder, and he leans in, and he kisses me on the lips. I like it. I kiss him back, and we are still kissing when I hear the kitchen door. He hears it too. We look at each other. Holy shit. I hear my dad call out, "Hello? Anybody home?" Get out of here. Don is already up and running, and the door slams behind him. I cringe as I hear my dad's footsteps coming down the stairs. I stand up, feeling sick in my stomach. He walks in the room and looks at me, and then looks at the door. Who is in here? No one. Cheryl, who was here? He takes a step toward me. No one. I back away. I said, don't lie to me, as the back of his hand hits my face and knocks me into the wall. I slide to the floor and brace myself for another blow. Who was that, and what were you doing? It was just Don Daney, and we were just talking. Don Daney? He's in high school. What are you thinking, having a boy his age alone with you down here? You're grounded. What will the neighbors say when they see a boy sneaking out of our basement? You bring shame on our family. You disgust me. He turns and stomps back upstairs. I get up and go to the bathroom and look in the mirror. My cheek is bright red. The place where his Masonic ring hit me is bleeding. I run cold water on a folded washcloth and put it to my cheek and lay down on my bed. This is the first time his anger has left a mark on my body. Why can't Dad just talk to me? Why does he get so mad? What is he afraid of that sends him into such a rage? He hit me hard across my face. Something must be wrong with me. Not just wrong, but bad. I must be bad. He said he's ashamed of me, and I disgust him. I don't know what's so bad. I don't know how to be different. I just have to be more careful. I have to keep everything a secret. It is not safe to tell the truth. I see now what Dad is capable of. A month later, on a Sunday afternoon, Mom and Dad are golfing. I'm home alone, feeling restless. I do love to read and listen to music, but at some point, I need more excitement. It's like an itch that needs to be scratched. Do you know what I mean? I look out the window. The streets are very quiet. Mom's car is sitting at the curb outside the kitchen door, her cute little red convertible. Light bulb moment. I can take my mom's car and go for a ride. I stare at the car, and then I see mom's keys are hanging on the hook. She and dad are golfing. They'll be gone for hours. What? Do I know how to drive? Hell no, but how hard can it be? I pick up the phone and call Vicky and Darla. Hey, I've got my mom's car. I'll be by to pick you up. I take the keys and walk out the door and slide into the driver's seat and look around. The streets and sidewalks are empty. My heart is pounding in my chest, but I feel calm with power. This is going to be epic. I turn the key and the engine starts. I flip the locks that hold the top and push that button, and the top folds back. I slide the gear shift into drive and press on the gas pedal and pull away from the curb. I drive the few blocks to Vicky's house, and she comes running out and hops in, super excited. Oh my God, your mom let you have her car? I look at her with a grin and shake my head. No, my mom did not let me have her car. She and dad are golfing, so I borrowed it. To my delight, Vicky's face is a combination of shock and awe. I drive on the side streets to Darla's house, and she's waiting when I pull up at the curb. She climbs in the back seat, squealing, "We have a car! Oh my gosh! Chery, you are the coolest friend ever." In this tiny Midwest town in 1964, dragging Maine is the primary form of social engagement for teenagers, along with the A&W drive-in. So the choice with my girls is obvious. We're gonna drag Maine. I stop at the light and put my blinker on. See, I know how to drive. I turn right onto Maine and drive slowly past all the parked cars. All of a sudden, there he is. It's Lee Miller walking down the sidewalk. Holy shit burgers. If Lee Miller sees me driving, he will know I am the girl for him. Hey, Lee! Hey, Lee! I hear a loud metal crunch, and I slam on the brakes to the sound of breaking glass. I have hit the long fin of a Cadillac sticking out past the other parked cars. It has Texas plates. Lee hears the crash and looks back at us, and he's probably thinking, who is dumb enough to hit a parked car? Vicky opens her door. I'll pop in the theater and use their phone to call the golf course. I hide my face in my hands. I'm in shock and shame and fear. Darla climbs out of the back seat. I'll run in the chat and chew and see if anybody claims a Cadillac from Texas. They're just escaping the scene of my crime. I'm left alone, dumbstruck. I don't want to get out of the car. I don't want to see the damage. All I can think is, Dad is going to kill me. Darla comes out of the chat and chew with a tall man in a cowboy hat and a short woman. I climb out of the car, and he comes over and puts his arm around me, and we look at his broken taillight. Dang it, honey, you dry those tears now. Don't you be crying. Everything's gonna be all right. We got ourselves covered with that insurance. The sheriff's deputy arrives. We kids call him Barney Fife behind his back. He recognizes me, and with a smirky smile, he says, well, well, Miss Owens, I guess we'll just wait until Howard gets here. When Dad arrives, I'm sitting on the curb. The deputy is leaning on his car, dragging on his cigarette. The Texan and his wife are standing in the shade under the awning by the Chat and Chew. Dad's face is red, and he walks past me as if I'm invisible. He shakes the hand of the Texan, apologizing for me, and tells him to bring his car to a local body shop to get his taillight fixed. Then he comes over. Stand up. I slowly stand, my head hanging down. The deputy steps over and asks, "Well, Howard, what would you like me to do with her?" Dad shakes his head and says, "Lock her in jail and throw away the key." It's a bad joke. I get in Dad's car, keep my head down and my mouth shut. By the time we get home, he has cooled off. So all I get is grounded for life and a threatening lecture informing me that I will be using my 25 cents an hour babysitting job to pay for Mom and the nice man's cars for the rest of my life. Then, almost as an afterthought, he announces, "You broke the law. You have to go to court and face the consequences." Court? I'm so clueless. I don't realize you don't go to court when the cop sends you home with your dad. But a few days later, Dad and I go to the courthouse to appear before the Justice of the Peace, one of Dad's friends. We stand before the bench. Justice Ray Balhorn is wearing his black robes. He bangs his gavel. "This court is now in session." It's just the three of us in the room. Then he says, "Cheryl, you're on probation. If you ever break the law again, you'll be going to jail for a very long time. And don't even think about driving a car before you're 16. If you do, you won't get your driver's license until you're 21 years old." Bang goes his gavel, and we walk out. Later, I would learn from my older brother that this court appearance was a setup between Dad and Ray, cooked up to put the fear of God in me. Can't say it worked. My law-breaking days were just getting started. The next morning, I walk into the junior high, and my best buddy, Dwayne Short, yells across the crowded hall, "Hey, everybody, look who's here. It's Crash Owens." As everyone turns towards me laughing, I smile back. I don't feel shame. I feel pride. I'm a bold, risk-taking bad girl, and a voice in my head that would never say the words out loud is yelling, "Fuck you, Dad." I make it through high school without any other major crisis. I let my dad, who thinks beauty queens are high achievers, groom me to become a pageant queen. I am taught how to sit and stand and walk and speak, given voice and piano lessons, and entered in local beauty and talent contests. In my senior year, I win the coveted title of Junior Miss, the prequel to the Miss America pageant. Dad is smiling and shaking hands, and people are slapping him on the back and congratulate him. What a girl! Maybe he's finally proud of me. He didn't say it, but maybe. I graduate from high school in the top 10%, and I am sent off to Denver University. Out of sight, out of mind. I know as long as I stay on the dean's list, I have a measure of freedom here. My dad asked me once in high school where I wanted to go to college and what I wanted to be when I grow up. I am so happy you asked this, Dad. I've been doing my research at the library. I want to be a parapsychologist. A para what? A parapsychologist. You know, Parapsychology, the study of psychic phenomenon, ESP? He shakes his head. Extrasensory perception, psychokinesis, the ability to move an inanimate object with mental energy. And sometimes kids do it by accident. Remember when my bed floated and I thought it was an under the bed monster? His face is totally blank. But I'm exciting myself now. Dad, I found a college. The University of London offers a parapsychology program. I'll get my degree in psychology, and then I'll go to London and specialize in para for my advanced degrees. I want to be a research parapsychologist. Dad lifts his hand and interrupts me with a strong head shake and a resounding stop. His expression is a combination of confusion and disbelief. He's looking at me like I just grew a second head. He isn't curious about my obvious excitement or the interesting subject I'm talking about. As he turns and walks away, he proclaims, "You're going to DU like your sister, and like her, you will be a teacher." You know, I almost feel bad for his lack of imagination and creativity. So, barely 18 years old, I land at Denver University, the college for rich kids fresh from boarding school who know how to party. I feel like a fish out of water. I didn't want to go to this college. My sister graduated from here. She was the president of her sorority. I hate sororities. At my first social, I meet economics major upperclassman, NCAA basketball scholar, big man on campus, Bob, who likes the looks of this cute junior miss and asks me out. No way I can say no. This is a DDD, Dad's Dream Date. And bonus, he's not a rich kid. He's on a scholarship. His dad is a steel worker in Southern Illinois, and that makes him less intimidating and more relatable to this unsophisticated South Dakota junior miss who has never smoked a cigarette or drank alcohol. Our date is a private party off campus. I drink some Purple Passion Punch, which has Everclear in it, the vintage version of roofies. So drunk, I can barely walk. Jim takes me back to the house he shares with a bunch of other athletes. On his bed, the room spinning, I feel him pulling at my clothes, but I can barely move. When this 6'5", 560-pound man climbs on top of me, I'm helpless. I push at him, crying, "Get off me! That hurts! Stop!" But he doesn't stop. This date rape scene is so common, it's not even considered rape. Of course, I don't tell anyone. What if they tell me it's my fault, that I was asking for it with my short skirt? I can tell you now that after that date rape, my behavior changed. My fragile self-worth took a nosedive. I became more self-destructive. I used a drama queen soap opera scene to punish Bob by cutting my wrists. And I became the girl who would drop acid and ride on the back of motorcycles with guys who were high and reckless. Bob is a clone of Howard. For reasons a psychologist might be able to explain, I let Bob take over where Dad left off. After my sophomore year, I make a deal with my father to let me transfer from Denver to Chicago by agreeing to change my major from psychology to education. I spend that summer of 1970 back home in the Black Hills, between the two worlds of the rich and clueless at DU and the working class and protesting at NIU. My suede miniskirts and Campesio ballet flats are in the trash. My uniform is now hip-hugging ragged bell-bottom jeans, a work shirt, and biker boots. I smoke dope, drop acid, and ride on the back of Harleys. I am part of the revolution that is happening in our country, and I am still my father's daughter. I am both, and I'm walking a line. In September of 1970, I fly to Chicago and take the train to NIU. I find the campus and the bursar's office and go in to register. As I approach the window, the bursar says, "Hello, dear. How can I help you today?" "I'm a psych major transferring from Denver University, and I want to leave here in 2 years with an education degree that will certify me to teach school so I can get a job." The bursar looks at me and nods, kind of looks up and down. TEUP is the experimental teacher training developed by a group of our finest professors. A group of 20 students began the program as freshmen, and they stay together for 4 years until they graduate. We just had a girl drop out, and I think you will fill her spot perfectly. I smiled. You had me at experimental. Sign me up. I show up at the address for my first meeting with the TEUP professors and my fellow students. I think it's a bit odd that we're meeting at a residence off campus. When I ring the bell, the door swings open, and a man of about 50 with long dark hair and a beard, wearing jeans and a t-shirt, introduces himself and smiles. "Hello, Cheryl. I'm Lowell Horton. I'm the professor of pedagogy and senior director of TEUP. Please, won't you come in and join us?" "You can call me Chery," I say over my shoulder as we walk into the living room. The students and professors are sitting in a big circle around a low coffee table on which sits the biggest hookah water pipe I've ever seen. I'm about to smoke some killer hash with my professors. I sit between a boy named Woody, who will become my good friend, and Dr. Horton, who takes the first drag from the pipe and passes it to me. As I draw in nature's plant medicine, I feel a connection to the people in this circle, and I believe I have finally found my community of acceptance. I hear the sound of Gracie Slick singing White Rabbit in the background. Have I just walked through the looking glass? No, I have not. I have just stepped up to the looking glass, and I am seeing my reflection in these professors. Dave is an art major from the south side of Chicago. He works with clay, and he throws beautiful pots. His mother is a professor, and his father is a principal. Dave is funny and kind and gentle. It's 1971. We snort MDA and ride our bicycles around town and climb out the window of his second-floor apartment to lay on the roof and gaze at the stars. He surprises me by bathing me in his claw-footed bathtub, the room lit with candles. He leads me from the bath to a plush rug in front of his fireplace and makes love to me, giving me multiple orgasms. It's the first time I've had an orgasm with a man. Of course, I fall in love with him. At the end of the semester, I go back to South Dakota for the summer. Dave rides out from Chicago with his best friend to pick me up. We're going to the Jethro Tull concert at the Red Rocks Amphitheater in Denver. Dave and Larry arrive. I have my bag packed and I'm ready to go. Dad looks askance at the long-haired boys and asks to speak to me. Oh, here we go. I follow him to his room and he closes the door. He doesn't mess around. If you leave here with those guys, don't come back. That boy is not acceptable. I try and protest. But Dad, he comes from a really good family of educators in Chicago. His mom is a professor. He interrupts me. Cheryl, he's an art major. Art is not a future. I try one more time. Dad, it's just a music concert. I'll be back in a few days. He lays down his law. I'm not letting you go off and be with a bunch of war protesting hippies. No. If you go, you're done here. You can go get a job waiting tables and figure out how to make it on your own. Don't even bother to come back. I'll disown you. Whoa. A bluff? Maybe. I didn't have the courage to test it. I turned my back on my artist lover. I never saw Dave again. I never knew if he was my soulmate. One of his pots still sits in the center of my fireplace mantel. A reminder? Something inside me died that day because I am a sellout. I return to college in the fall and reconnect with Bob, who is living in Chicago, working as a trust officer at the First National Bank of Chicago and going to John Marshall Law School at night. He is my dad's choice. Maybe Dad's right. What do I know? Maybe Bob is just what I deserve. I graduate in 1972 with my teaching degree and spend the summer in Chicago driving a taxi amid race riots. Bob has quit the bank, dropped out of law school. He is working as a caseworker at the new infamous projects Cabrini Green. His hair is long, and we are hippie allies hanging out in the black music clubs at night. That fall, we moved back to Denver. Bob goes back to grad school, and I get my first teaching job. After a year, he announces we're moving back to Illinois, not Chicago this time, St. Louis, where he's from. He has scored an assistantship at SIU, and then he has one shocking disclosure. We have to get married. Mom's reputation's at stake with her Lutheran friends if we come home and live in her basement in sin. There's no proposal on bended knee with a ring, no discussion, only the weight of expectation and dependence. I don't know what to do. I have limited contact with my parents and siblings. No wise woman friend, no one to talk to, no couple friends. Resistance feels unachievable. This wedding is going to happen. I have relinquished the reins of control to him. He is the only person who is present in my life. At the Dooley's house, an old friend of our family, we're greeted with hugs and smiles by Don and Rosa. The only other person at the wedding is Mrs. Riker, a 93-year-old homesteader who Rosa brought to the house to serve as our required witness. I am a 23-year-old bride wearing a Mexican wedding dress that I bought yesterday at the Cinderella Mall in Denver. The only thing I could find on the sale rack for less than $20. The dress is made of ivory gauze, and it's machine embroidered bright red and blue. It's a size 12. I'm a size 6. It hangs on my small frame. The hem is wicking up water as my bare feet sink into the wet grass. My long, straight hair falls loosely down my back. I stand quietly with a slight smile on my lips as I watch a daddy long-legged spider slowly crawling up Mr. Dooley's tie. Bob stands beside me in cowboy boots and a Western shirt and jeans. I feel confused and defeated. The directive from Mom and Dad is clear as can be. College is not a place to find a career. It's a place to find a man. Then you get married. A single woman obviously has something wrong with her. Your goal in life is to marry and have a family. A woman can't navigate life on her own. She needs a man. Somewhere deep in the mind of my inner wild child, the thought is, if I cross my fingers in a King's X, the marriage ceremony won't count. So I hide my hands behind my back and cross my fingers as I say, I do. While in my mind I say, I don't. And at that moment, the daddy long legs lets go and falls into the grass, and I watch it disappear. I'm married. We're living in a small farm outside a community on the Mississippi River across from St. Louis. We're teachers. Bob is investing in rental property, and I'm helping him with renovations and rent collections. By the time I turn 30, my biological clock is ticking, and I know it's time. Jim opposes starting a family. He says we can't afford it. But I hold the cards in this hand. In my first true act of defiance in my marriage, I secretly remove my IUD, and weeks later, I'm pregnant. 9 months pass, and we're at the hospital. My contractions are intense, but when the nurses check, I'm always at 4 centimeters for hours. I've never been present at a birth, and I don't realize my water hasn't broken. After several hours of agonizing labor, my husband, supposedly my labor coach, announces, "This baby's taking too long. I'm going to go home and get some sleep. I'll be back in the morning." I know, right? But to be honest, it's a relief to have him gone. The doctor and my husband arrived together at 9 o'clock the next morning. I've labored all night. The nurses are pushing painkillers at me, which I adamantly refuse. Women have been having babies forever without drugs, and so can I. The doctor examines me and says, "Well, no wonder these contractions aren't pushing that baby out. Your water hasn't broken. We can fix that." Could have fixed it 10 hours ago, too. He breaks my water. I labor for 2 more hours and deliver my beloved son, Breck. And he is perfect. I'm on leave from teaching to raise my babies, Breck and then Genevieve, 3 years later. My heart overflows with the joy of motherhood. I really, really wanted to be a mother, and I am. Farm life suits us perfectly. I teach the kids to ride, care for the sheep and chickens, raise lots of cats and dogs, tend a sprawling organic garden, side by side, the kids and me. These years are idyllic, a blur of sun-drenched days and laughter. And as the children grow, so does a new desire. I realize teaching isn't in my future. I want to be a massage therapist, a body worker. Tonight, after feeding Bob dinner, I share my decision. "Bob, I've decided to go back to work." "About time. Where will you be teaching?" "I'm not teaching." "Well, what then?" "I'm going back to school. I'm going to be a massage therapist." His face twists with anger. "What? Are you fucking with me?" "No, I'm not." "Massage therapy? A masseuse? What will people say? They'll think you're a fucking hooker." Anger floods me as I recall the time my father raged, "What will the neighbors think?" As Bob storms out the door, he yells over his shoulder, "You're out of control. I can't control you anymore." Later, the kids are asleep, and I'm just drifting off when he appears, drunk and reeking of stale beer. He tosses his clothes on the floor and falls on the bed. His weight pins me down, his anger a suffocating presence. He curses, spitting in my face. You're just a stupid, uppity bitch. I ought to throw you out in the street. Fuck you. The words are a silent curse that I hold inside. Massage therapy is just the beginning. I dive deep into various bodywork modalities. After 7 years as a therapist in a doctor's office, I cut the ribbon on opening day for Be Well Now, a bodywork and yoga center, my new business. Pathways to Wellness, my nonprofit, is born. We offer free monthly seminars to women in the community, empowering them to make informed decisions about their health, both conventional and alternative. Through Pathways, I meet Pat Tucholsky, a Celtic shaman, and I begin my journey into shamanism. The esoteric practice, working with nature spirits and the elements, resonates deeply, echoing my childhood in the Black Hills and my connection to the Sioux Nation. Bob, however, thinks I have completely lost my mind. His ignorant lawyer friend tells him, Pathways to Wellness is a front for witchcraft. In a fit of rage, he threatens, I can't control what you do, but don't you ever bring that craziness around our kids. Don't you ever let me catch you teaching our kids this bullshit. You women are dangerous. When the children are grown, launched into their own lives, I am alone with him again. I'm a force for good in my community, yet at home, I remain less than equal, a shadow of myself. Then came the spring snowstorm, a surreal blizzard under a full moon. Soaking in the hot tub steam, the loneliness is a physical ache, tears streaming down my face. This relentless feeling of hopelessness is too familiar. I have never felt this lonely. I've worked really hard to stay afloat, but I'm sinking. I can't do this anymore. I look up at Grandmother Moon, desperate, and pray for guidance. Her voice, clear as the cold night air, responds, leave or you will die. Leave with nothing, and you will have everything. You will have saved yourself. His threats echo in my ears. If you ever try to leave me, you'll be so sorry. If you make it, you'll get nothing, not a penny. But as I gaze across the snow-covered fields, a stark image pierces my mind. I see myself walking naked down the road in the moonlight, vulnerable and utterly free. I look back up at Grandmother Moon. Her voice is stronger now, insistent. Remember who you are. Remember the girl who flew through the woods bareback on a horse, wild and free. Remember the rebellious teenager who stole a car, fearless and impulsive. Remember the young woman navigating the chaos of Chicago's race riots, driving a taxi, her hands steady on the wheel. Remember the mother who nurtured two strong, independent souls. Remember the teacher who filled a classroom with laughter and learning and made school a magical place. Remember the therapist who eases the burden of others' pain, offering solace where it's needed most. Remember the yoga instructor guiding others to the ancient wisdom of self-love. You are all of these things and so much more. Now go. Leave him. Trust in your strength, your abundance, your inner worth. You are enough. You have always been enough, and you will always be enough. The night ended, and within days, so did my relationship. I escaped to a tiny cabin by a lake, seeking solace in the woods, and worked to rediscover myself. 2 years later, I find myself in the California mountains, far from my past, building Mountain Valley Retreat, a haven for hikers and a refuge for those seeking healing through nature and yoga and bodywork. This remote sanctuary, my haven, is where I have found freedom, where I am writing, and where my stories can finally be told. Thank you for witnessing.
Okay, so everyone take yourself off mute so Chery can hear the cheering and championing.
Hey, Chery.
Oh, Chery!
Hey, Chery.
Fantastic.
Hey,
So
Chery.
wonderful.
So
Marvelous.
inspiring.
You did
Beautiful.
great.
Hello.
Fabulous.
Good.
Thank you.
Bravo.
Great.
You're radiant.
Bravo. Woo. You did it, Chery. You did it.
Oh,
Thank you.
Congratulations. And now I feel a
Woo, you
compulsion
did
to say, and
Yay.
Chery, this is your life.
it.
I know you have so many friends and loved ones here, so I'm going to mute everybody. So this is such an important step for Chery. And Chery, unpin yourself. So thank you for being here. And the witnessing is really going to help Chery as well as our little feedback session right now. So Chery, unpin yourself. And so right now, if you want to put in the chat, because this will help the writer, what you thought the problem or the problems of this character. And it could be, I think it's this, or I think it's this and this, or if you're not sure, all of that is valuable. It's not critical. It will just really help Chery know what's landing. And I will also see who would like to give some comments of just what you experienced or what you really appreciated or that moved you. And we'll hear from a couple people who want to share. And before we do that, Chery, is there anything that you want to say? So unmute yourself, Chery.
There we go. Okay. I unpinned and I unmuted, right? You can hear me now? Oh,
Yes.
is there anything I want to say? I'm just sort of expanded. And I don't have any real thoughts going on right now. I just feel a lot of emotion.
Sure. Which totally makes sense. Yeah. Because this is just such a marathon and that this has been a 6-month process. And this really is Chery's celebration and graduation. And to be able to go through this process takes so much courage, discovery, epiphanies, investigation. And it is also, I'm guessing, very liberating, Chery, to be telling this story and being able to share it. So put in the chat what you think the problem was or problems, and if anybody wants to share what they appreciated or what touched them. Go ahead, Ann.
I just wowed Chery by just the like I know how many stories you have and trying to find the structure, the arc, and I just think you did. It's so beautifully written and performed, and that's a 6-month time period with Terry, and you've got gold. I'm just thrilled for you. And just the way you take your time and embody um each moment to moment, like emotionally you're present, and it was like commanding performance. And I love the specificity of each scene building on the next, showing where the narrator wasn't recognized for her wild spirit and liberation, and then finally claiming that. So it was just, and I loved it. Thank you, Chery.
Thank you, Ann. And actually, this story started in Unmute in 2020. And I started writing with Ann. So yeah, thank you. It really means a lot to me that you're here, Ann. Thank you.
I'm really good girl. I'm reading. I'm reading the chat. Go ahead. Who's ever next? I'm reading what other people are putting.
Could I ask a question? Tell me the name of your business again.
Oh, this is Mountain Valley Retreat.
Mountain Valley Retreat. Thank you. Wonderful story. I really enjoyed it.
Thank you.
What else of what we appreciate or that moved and touched you?
So Chery, bravo. I've heard the story and I've seen it evolve and to such a sparkling, joyful story. And you've said many times you don't want it to be the story of victimhood, and you've achieved that while telling the story of a return to yourself.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Thank you, Ellen.
Yeah, and Ellen has been along in a lot of this process because to arrive at today, we build the show. And so Chery put up 40 minutes at 9 weeks, and then 18 weeks, 50 minutes, and then 60 minutes. So Ellen has really seen the evolution of it and really getting to see Chery's process, which is also really interesting and fascinating. And I also wanted to let everyone know. In case you would be wondering, oh my gosh, what if I tell my story? And you want some guidance and help, I have put in the chat tips that I have for starting and going through this process, as well as if you want to get my Creative Rights newsletter, which has writing tips, creativity resources. And also there's one more amazing one-woman show, May 18th, of Chery's classmate. It ends with guinea pigs, and Diana Gittleman is irreverent and hilarious. So if you want to come join us. So all the information is in the chat. Heather, what did you appreciate? So Heather, unmute yourself. No, we can't hear you. So Heather, you might want to put it then in the chat comments. Now you're still muted, but why don't you go, Dana?
You hear me?
Yes.
Okay, terrific. I have a long list of lines that I wrote down, Chery, and I'll send them to you rather than, kind of read through all of them now.
Okay.
But I do want to say that without Zoom, I wouldn't be able to attend. And on the other hand, I just kept feeling like, wow, I just wish I was sitting in a theater, seeing you on a stage performing this. It just makes for a rich experience. I have some of the lines I have are, let's say, it's not safe to tell the truth, a lesson you learned as a very young child. It's not safe to tell the truth. And how you had your fingers crossed behind your back at your wedding. And there's so many more. Where is it? What was the other one? Oh, I let Bob take over where Dad left off. So, and there are a lot more, just like so many fabulous lines, Chery, and your pauses and your pacing and your energy were great. And I love your dress. I love your dress. Thank you.
And certainly speaking for all of us, and Chery absolutely does have the intention that she will be doing this in the theater. This is the first step now of bringing it into performance. What else do we appreciate? You can unmute yourself.
Yeah. Well, did you? Yeah, I'm unmuted. Chery, it was fabulous. Everything, every word, the pacing, the characterizations. I'm so excited. It was beautiful. And I got to hear the laughter in the other room.
We were laughing. Exquisite. Absolutely exquisite, Chery. I'm so proud of you.
Thank
You're
you.
amazing.
It's so good to see you.
It's good to see you,
it
honey.
was like going to the theater. I
Yeah.
mean, you really became the 5-year-old and the 13-year-old. And we
Each
went with you
moment.
on this ride, and this father figure, oh my goodness, the villain. We
Yeah.
just were like, and then Bob, and thank you for fighting that fight and becoming the woman that you are today.
Thank
And
you.
fighting it for all of us, because in our age group, Chery, we experienced that, and God bless you. It was just amazing.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Love, love, love.
Love, love, love.
Yeah, big cheering section there with that. And also Diane has gone through this process, and Diane is the reason that I know Chery. What else do we appreciate or that touched us? Anybody else want to share their experience? And Heather, I don't know if you figured out how to unmute yourself. No, okay, but I see you put it in the chat. So anybody else want to add anything? Did you want to go ahead, Andy?
Hey, Crash.
Hey, Andy.
Nice, great job, Crash.
Thank you.
I've heard a lot. I've heard, I've read or heard some of these stories, but it was a real treat to have them all, in context together. And so thank you for that. And
Andy, you're not the one that gave her that name.
No,
I'm
it's
not.
her-
No,
but you know about it.
I'm not that. I'm not quite. I wasn't quite drag race in 1964. But
Okay.
Yeah. But yeah, thank you, Chery. That was fantastic. Great job.
Really appreciate you being here. Thank you.
Anybody else want to share?
Oh,
Okay. What was this like for you, Chery?
it was fun. It was fun. I've really been doing my work. I read it and read it and read it, and I was editing it 2 hours before I performed it, still cutting things out.
Yep.
It had to get shrunk almost in half from the original script.
Yep.
And but I'm happy. I mean, there were times when there were pieces I had to cut out that I really missed. But you got to cut something, right, to make it fit in an hour, and so that was really difficult for me. And even now, this performance of it, there were times when I missed something. I just wanted you guys to know more. But I couldn't.
Yeah. So
it's all good.
yeah, so all of this is really valuable, and you don't know until you actually do it and being witnessed, and also the beauty and the importance of deadlines. And that's the way that the creative process functions the best. So the fact that you had all this clarity, all the epiphanies, which I had told you that as we get 2 weeks, to performance, 1 week, one night before, the morning of. So, and then just really bless all the work that you've done because it really showed, because there was modulation, we got tone, we got mood. Chery is not a trained actress. So what she did was actually extraordinary. It's not a natural thing.
That's my first time I've ever
To be doing this. And also having the courage to invite so many people, allowing yourself to be supported and witnessed. And go ahead, Mary Rose.
Terry, that was amazing. It was so amazing. I particularly was in awe of how you stepped into each of your phases and were there. We were right there with you. It was as if cinematically we were seeing you at each one of those points. And always underneath, always was your power. And then at the end, it just explodes, and there it is all the time, 24/7. No restraints anymore. And it's a beautiful story. It's absolutely a beautiful story. It's a beautiful life, and you're a beautiful person.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Thank you, Mary Rose. So thank you all for being here and being such an important part of Chery's process, and also giving her so much encouragement and support. And I know there's people here also that have been through the process with her. And every single person here, you do have an amazing story. And The reason I'm a story advocate is it because it's the most profound way for us to connect, as well as to understand how extraordinary we are because of what we've gone through, what we've overcome. If I can help anybody here to give them a jump start, and I really mean it, contact me. You have my email because you got a ticket. So I would be honored to help you tell your story or just to give you a jump start. I hope I get to see you again. Tell your stories. Thank you for cheering and championing Chery. And I'm guessing some people here may also be sending her thoughts and more support and encouragement. I salute you, Chery. Beautiful, beautiful work. This is her graduation and such a triumph.
Thank you.
Hooray.
Thank you. Thank you all so much for being here. I really appreciate it. And I'm going to figure out how to save the chat so I can read all of that too. I know there's a way, but I'm just not sure how to do it.
So, Chery, it'll be downloaded
Oh,
when
okay.
you exit.
Okay.
And if you want to stop the recording and just to don't exit. Thank you, everybody.
Yeah, thank you. Congratulations.